how did you guys come up from the concepts of the game to like the decisions you guys made along the way?
Yeah, it was kind of a very unusual pathway for this project. So I was actually doing some work with another VR studio called Toast Interactive, and I was very interested in Horizon Worlds. So I managed to talk my way into getting to the summit, the Creator Summit last year. That's when I met Ben and some others, and I think it was around a fire pit at a hotel in Palo Alto, and probably too many expensive cocktails, but it seemed to work well at the time.
I think we had the right amount.
So we hadn't started working at that point, but then the idea for Pop and Drop came out of that studio, and that was sort of greenlit provisionally by Meta at the time. So Woodua then got more involved from that stage. And that's when we sort of started putting the team together as well. So, called out to Ben, and Ben also connected us up with a great developer that we worked with on the project as well. And there's a few other folks that we pulled in to work with it. But so it was kind of an unusual pathway in.
Also a great content person. Shout out to Jessica.
Yes, absolutely. We met some great people along the way. Yeah, Jessica, Gunga Goose, and others. And just sort of part of that was people that I met at the summit last year, and others were just through connections as well. So quite an unusual pathway into working on this project. But yeah, one we're really grateful for because it's enabled us to learn a little bit more about this space and kind of, get our feet wet in the area and kind of, hopefully work on some more projects as well.
But also connect with this community. I think, especially having come from other spaces and gaming spaces, I mean, it's been really cool to see how supportive and friendly the community of creators are. And, I spent a little time in the Discord and just starting to grow our brand new NC Play social media on Instagram. So follow us, NC_Play 2024. As new creators in the Meta Horizon World space, it's encouraging to see that we're not alone trying to find our way in all of this. It is new. It's the Wild Wild West. It's newly being developed. And but the fact that the community is united and not like this is my space, this is my dance space, it's your dance space, you don't come over here. It's refreshing and exciting, and hopefully we can all figure that out.
I think the community is one of the biggest draws to Horizon Worlds, right? But it was. I was having an interesting conversation. I'd be interested to get your guys' take on this the other day, where we're you're comparing Horizon Worlds to platforms like Rec Room, not just Rec Room and Roblox, which are UGC platforms, but we're also comparing it to platforms like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. We have a very different audience from something like Facebook games, right? Facebook or YouTube games. And so when we look at these other social media platforms, one of the things where I see Horizon Worlds headed is creators as influencers. And you see this a lot more with more traditional studios as well. I think that engaging with the audience has gone up, particularly with the release of early access on Steam. I think developers are learning that it's actually really helpful to engage with an audience before, the game is finished being developed. But I also see a lot of encouraging, with avatar clothing. It's okay, well, now you need to promote this avatar clothing. How are you going to do that? So as a new studio coming in and sort of viewing the community for the first time, which, you're right, I think is very supportive and collaborative. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that was probably one of the things I immediately saw when meeting a lot of the people in this space at Summit last year was that, very collaborative, collegiate sort of environment. And you're right, it feels quite unusual compared to some others where there's a lot more competition going on. But it was very supportive, and it still is, which is the right way to do it too. We're all kind of building this together, not we're fighting each other for the resources and the whatever support there is. It's more about the more that we can work together. So that's so far. Let's hope it stays that way for a while, because it may not as it starts to mature, but it's a great environment at the moment.